Hey, Scott, we're going live. Who do you want to do a shout out to?
Let's do a shout out to Dwight Byers and the International Institute of Reflexology.
Dwight Byers, here we go. Hey guys, we're back. It's Monday. It's the 4th of July. Woo woo. We're talking with Scott Donet today. He is known as the Foot Guy. Scott's a certified reflexologist. He's an ordained minister. He's a Reiki master. He's the author of Emotive Reflex Method, and he's got more than 30 years of practice in alternative healing methods, and he's an expert in natural techniques to change lives. So, Scott, what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Went through a bit of a holiday morning chaos. We had to move our RV one spot to the left, and of course, when we clicked in this morning, it didn't start. So it's been a morning, yeah.
See, we're gonna have to.
Everything's cooled down now, and we're all set to go, though.
Awesome. We're going to get you back on to talk about RV life and traveling around in RV and living in it. That's going to be cool.
It's been amazing.
Yes. So today we're going to focus on reflexology, which I think most people know about reflexology, and they see the foot chart, right? And with all the little things on it. But it also has to do with not just your feet. I think it has to do with ears and other pressure points on your hands and stuff. So enlighten us. What's up with reflexology?
So reflexology for most folks, like you mentioned, is access to the body through the feet. The same reflexes are available on the hands and on the ears. It's called auricular therapy when it's the ears, and it's connected to acupuncture. Mm-hmm. Whereas the reflexes of the hands and the feet operate a little bit differently with the sympathetic parasympathetic nervous system when we start to do the compression therapy.
What's the difference between sympathetic and parasympathetic? What's up with those, so people know what we're talking about?
So one is I think about it and it happens. The other one, it happens. So with reflexology, we operate in both realms. In a massage, you would work in just the things we know we can operate. You wouldn't be massaging a heart or a pancreas. You would stay with the muscles or the skeletal system. Reflexology is a little bit different. We can work with glands and organs. So the reach is a little bit different, but it's not quite as hands-on as massage. So they both have their place, and they are amazing and important.
So that's I want to make a clear distinction here. Reflexology is not a massage technique. Is that correct?
That is correct. They are independent of each other. Massage works with the flow of the muscle and the muscular skeletal system, whereas reflexology technique is compression therapy. And it works on stimulating and clearing reflexes in the hands and the feet in order to have a reflexive action in the body, bringing that body part, organ or gland, back into homeostasis, which is a fancy word for balance.
Okay, gotcha. So let's talk about the feet, because that's what most people know, and you are the foot guy. When you use your hands, your thumbs and fingers to, I don't want to say massage, but touch. What do you do? Apply pressure, I guess, to these areas. What happens?
So a couple of different things happen, right? So obviously we're on the feet and we're applying compression therapy, which is like a simple thumb walk, an inchworm. Going across the surface. Let me see if I can see it. There we go. Going across the surface. So that's what it looks like, as opposed to massage, which works with or moves with the flow of the muscle, right? So the technique is completely different, but you're still there. You're still applying pressure to the physiology of the feet. So there's that piece, right? So there's a movement of blood. There's a drawing of blood from the other parts of the body. So the circulation is increased. The feet warm up. The capillaries in the blood system of the feet all fill up and exchange blood, and the blood pressure rises just a small amount in order to just really get down to the very tips of our fingers and tips of our toes. Because as soon as we start working on the feet, the hands get stimulated too, right? Because the blood flows to everywhere when it goes to the feet.
So when you're working on the feet, people physically feel it in other parts of their body while you're working on them?
So that's the next step, right? So then there's the reflex component of it, and that's when we're accessing that sympathetic parasympathetic nervous system, where we're applying a reflex action from the feet to the body, encouraging a return to balance. When I feel those areas and they're congested, it's as though I feel kosher salt on the kitchen counter. Remember when we were kids? Did you ever do that? Pop the big salt. I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood in
Yes.
southern Ontario, so the kosher salt was everywhere. So we played with it. So it's such a familiar feeling to me that's the feeling. We call it in the business. We call them crunchies or crystals.
You feel that in the foot.
And our intention is to implode them, is to crush them, is to make them go away, to clear that congestion in the feet. Because when I clear that congestion in the feet, I clear it in the body.
So how does somebody know to come to you for reflexology if they've got, like, I don't know, actually, let me ask a better question. What would people come to you for, and how would they know to come to you?
So the only contraindication in reflexology is pregnancy.
Pregnancy?
And I worked on both of my children through all of their pregnancies. I just knew where to be on their feet. So literally the only thing that you wouldn't come for would be pregnancy. And if you are 39 weeks or more, you might want to come anyway, because that's part of that inducing process that we can help you move to that place. So anything, Michael, anything that's going on that you want to address holistically, right?
Okay.
If an aspirin is easier, take the aspirin. If you don't want to take aspirin, then you're going to search for the other thing, and I would be one of those things. Reflexology would be one of those things.
So let me ask you a question, because I've had problems with my back. Now, can you take care of what do you want to call it, herniated disc problems and that sort of stuff by working with the feet?
So here's the way I operate, Foot Guy. It doesn't matter what's going on with you. I can help you in 3 sessions or less. And if I can't help you, Michael, in 3 sessions, I can't help you.
Gotcha. So
Right.
what are the effects, I guess, that I would feel? What are the things that would come out of the sessions, and how long are they?
Sessions are typically an hour, unless we're at Spirit Fest or an event or a fair, and then they're reduced to some amount. But typically a private session is 1 hour. Remember that a big piece of what I do, the generic name for Foot Guy, the commercial name, is Emotive Reflex Method. So the big piece of that is emotive. So one of the pieces that I've done through my technique is I've also put in a call to action on the emotional piece.
Okay.
So along with working your spine reflexes and your hips, right, and then your shoulders, I'd also be talking to you about the structure in your life. Where are you feeling unsupported? Depending on where in your back it was hurting, we could hone in on specific emotions that are connected to specific vertebra, so that we could move into the exact emotional block that you're having, so that we could work the emotional block at the same time as we're working the physical reflex, and therefore remove the need for your back to be in pain, because you've addressed what it's trying to talk to you about.
Wow. Okay. Now,
That's
are you
from Louise Hay.
Are you actually working nerves like the sciatic nerves and stuff and that go down the leg, or what are you working?
So I'm working the reflex of the sciatic nerve, right? So I am not actually touching any part of your body when I'm working your feet. I don't go past your ankles. Well, every now and again I do if there's something there that I need to get to, but for the most part, I don't go past your ankles. So when I'm working on your reflexes, I'm working on the reflex of that part of your body, right? So it's almost like, for me, it's almost like reverse diagnosis,
Okay.
because I'm looking for an emotional causation of why you're having physical blockage. Because I want to address the emotion. I want to offer that to you, to look at that emotional blockage as something that you can do for you to bring yourself back to balance, and it will have an effect physically on the area of concern.
Okay. Now, one question there's a bunch of questions I have to ask, but I'm sure that some people are going like, well, I walk on my feet all day. I mean, I'm touching all these points that we're going to do things with. Am I messing things up? Am I making things better? If I'm a marathoner and I'm running on them all the time, what's up with? I'm putting pressure on all those points all the time. How do you work with that? I mean,
So the reason I like to work with feet is because we keep them wrapped up so much, right? They're more sensitive than our hands. We bang and smash our hands around a lot, so they're not as sensitive as our feet. We think that we're rough on our feet. In reality, for most of our evolution, we walk 25 to 30 miles a day barefoot,
okay,
right? Most of us are trying to get 10,000 steps, right?
right,
Right? Which
like
is
maybe 5 miles.
right, which is about 4 miles, maybe 5 miles. For me, it's only 3 miles because I have really long legs. I'm
Like
6'4", right? So
just
makes my wife crazy. Um, but we also insulate and wrap our feet. Some of us wrap our feet in these incredibly durable, structured shoes. Some of us put our feet in these horrible, high heel things that
hmm
do horrible, tragic things to our feet. Please stop wearing high heels. Anybody who's wearing them, just don't do it. Um, so so we're actually walking around very protected. I wear what's called minimalist shoes. So I wear zero shoes, samurai shoes. There's no padding, there's no arch support, there's nothing. There's a little thin piece of rubber. And if I had it my way, Michael, we'd remove the rubber and replace it with leather, because that would conduct, or at least not impede, the electrical transmission that's supposed to occur between our feet, our bare feet,
the ground,
and the earth,
right?
right? Because there's an exchange that's supposed to happen between when we're walking on the planet. Every
Uh-huh.
time we step, there's a positive and negative charge that we exchange with the planet. And when we put rubber in between that,
It kills the charge.
yeah, electricity
Yeah.
can't go through that. We know that because we insulate all of our stuff with rubber, so that lightning doesn't hurt it. Uh,
Wow.
so those are some. So when you're in a minimalist shoe, yes, you're getting reflexology all the time because your feet are coming in contact with you. And when you're barefoot, I people are like, "Sorry, I walked barefoot all day." I'm like, "Thank you. I'm glad. This is just dirt. We can brush that off." But if you have to take 10 minutes to take your shoes and socks and orthotics and all those things off, I know the feet that I'm going to address. They're going to be um, uh, less muscular. They're going to be devoid of circulation. They're going to be clammy and cold because they're being contained. Whereas that foot that's out and open and walking, I tease my wife. I call her, a peasant child from Tennessee because she walks barefoot, but she also has amazing feet and is connected to the ground and stays grounded, right? So most of the talks that I give when I do wellness fairs is about grounding. It's earthing and grounding.
Okay.
So it's really about how do we bypass the rubber and reconnect ourselves to the earth.
Now, why don't you have leather zero shoes instead of rubber?
Well, because the way we live in our life, we're walking on concrete, we're walking on the out here in the world, we would tear that style of shoe up. A moccasin is not suited for asphalt and sidewalks and
Oh,
malls.
I see what you're saying. I see
Um,
what you're saying.
More like what indigenous folk, we're familiar with it because we're here in North America, but a traditional Native American moccasin allows for that neutrality, that connection with the earth, because it's not rubber. The electricity can move back and forth through that foot covering, whereas it cannot through the rubber.
Gotcha. I was thinking when you said leather shoes, I was thinking like your leather modern dress shoe, that kind of leather.
Oh,
You're talking moccasin.
a nice high end quality leather soled shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I used to wear those when I was in the restaurant business, but they were also $350 pair of shoes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right, right. So and then I have moccasins too. So
Okay.
when I'm not going to be on concrete, then we throw the moccasins on and play, or we just wear the little samurai shoes and go with those. But yeah, earthing and grounding is very important. One of the things that I built through COVID was a grounding station.
Uh, and what is that? What is a grounding
Um,
station?
Literally the same kind of grounding setup as you would put on your house or you have on your house. There's a rebar that's pounded into the ground. There's a wire coming off your electrical box that's wired right to that rebar. And if your house gets hit, the electricity runs through the house and goes down to
Into
that
the
rebar.
ground.
I have a rebar that's pounded only 6 feet into the ground, 4 feet above the ground, right outside of the home we used to live in. So you would come out with your right hand, and that sends energy out. That's your right side. That's your masculine side. So you'd grab it with your right hand and drain any negative energy that I had throughout the day. Any pain, hurts, disconnect that I have, I would drop that down and let that feed into the ground, and go back to the mother. And then, before I left for work in the morning, or after I did that when I got home, before I went in to see the wife, I
Yeah.
would grab that with my left hand. Now, left hand is the feminine side. It's our receptive side. It pulls, draws things in. So then I would draw energy up that same rebar, that same metal bar connected to the earth. I would now draw that energy, that mother energy, back up into my body, filling myself up with the mother.
Gotcha.
And
This
then
is
I would
just
have that for my people and my wife.
this is an amazing philosophy, work, way of life,
It's math.
practice. I like
Dude.
it.
It's literally math, Mike.
Okay.
Sorry, Michael. So think of it from a place of electricity. It's measurable. Think of it from a place of energy. It's measurable. My RV didn't work today. We had to jump it. We had to send energy to it.
Right.
Through that, there was a little reader on there. There was a little gauge on there, and it told us how much energy was moving through there. Right.
Gotcha.
So all these things are measurable. The only thing that's not so far is the reflexology piece,
Hmm.
right? Because even acupuncture now is measurable.
Really. They put the
Math.
little wires on it and flip them,
Yes,
and you can
exactly. And
feel
they
it.
saw how it changed when they inserted the needle and put it on, and the little needle on the machine went
Right.
right. And it's
Yes,
like
yes,
that's measurable.
it
Yeah.
is. So what is just for people who have been watching and they go like, well, I hear what you're saying, but give me an example of somebody that you've worked on, they've come in with a problem and you've solved their problem, helped them with their problem through reflexology.
Okay, let me give you two examples. One would
Okay.
be a physiological example. Someone came in, they thought something was seriously wrong with their foot. I felt it, I could feel it move, I could feel that it wasn't broken. So as I felt their foot, I simply pulled their foot to how it should, and the bone slipped back into its spot. And then we did a little reflexology just gently around that area. There was no bruising. The dislocation of that phalange dropped right back in. It wasn't like a manipulation because I don't do that kind of work, but I
Hmm.
simply was with the foot, and boom, it just drops back in. Same thing can happen with an arch. I can simply be working that reflex area, and part of the arch will fall back into place, right? So
Interesting.
not from a conscious manipulation place, but from just being with the foot and allowing circulation and allowing energy to be into the foot, it comes back into alignment by itself.
Gotcha.
Probably the other thing would be gas, or any kind of intestinal issue.
Uh-huh.
For some reason, reflexology is like gold. If you are going to the bathroom too much, or not going to the bathroom enough, working the colon and the small colon, and the large intestine,
Hmm.
within minutes.
Through the foot.
In minutes, through the feet, never touching, never doing any kind of manipulation on the tummy or any kind of energy work, even with the large colon, just working on the foot. Within 20 to 30 minutes of the session, I'm getting phone calls. I couldn't even get home.
I think we've got some fans here, Jan Allington. I love this explanation. So you're definitely helping us understand what's going on here. And just I keep going on with this. One more thing. The difference between reflexology, you working with the foot, and a podiatrist. What is the difference there?
Okay, so a podiatrist is a doctor.
Okay.
They're a physician. They went to school for a very, very long time, and they know how to address and fix the feet.
Okay.
They would be masters, right? From a let's look at the hierarchy.
Okay.
I would be a therapist or a tech.
Okay.
Right? But they would not. A podiatrist wouldn't call me as a reflexologist to do anything for them, because I don't work on the feet for the feet. I work on the feet for the body.
Gotcha.
Right? So I, on the other hand, have two different podiatrists who I refer to on a regular basis, because if I come up with a problem with the feet, or a misalignment with the feet, or something that's broken or needs to be addressed from a professional level, I send them to those people. They fix them, and my people come back so I can continue the therapeutic process that I do through their feet to help their body.
That's awesome. I love this. I think we need to get people in touch with you. And you've got an awesome website named www.thefootguide.rocks. It's not .com, it actually is .rocks.
Isn't that a
So
great website?
that is a great website. I want to get Michael Jackson rocks.
There you go. That one works. Yes.
Yes, it does. No, the Foot Guy rocks. I love that. The Footguy.rocks. Everybody wants to learn more about reflexology, and you travel around in your RV to different areas. You're specifically in Florida. So, how is your schedule on the Foot Guy rocks?
It's not yet, but that's a great idea. We're actually lined up with another group called sanctuaryflorida.com. They are Spirit Fest, and
Okay.
we travel with that group of healers and vendors and metaphysical folk all around the Florida area. We go in for the weekend. Of course, we have our RV, so we roll in and unpack and do our thing. And we've just loved it. We do a talk. Becky does a class on love languages. We get to visit with people and hang out. I work on people all weekend. And then ultimately our goal is, to arrive a couple days early and do some work before the weekends. So as we establish, relationships over the next couple of years, that's what our goal is.
That's amazing. When you roll through the Indian River County area here in Florida, I'm going to look you up for sure.
I'll let you know when we're coming.
All right. Thank you for being on. That was amazingly informative. I had never talked to somebody who did reflexology, and my mind is okay. We can use this now. Thank you
Right
very
on.
much,
Thank
Scott.
you,
We will
Mike.
see you
Appreciate your
sometime
time.
soon.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Bye bye.
Untitled